I don't know about you, but when you first start getting into trading the financial markets, you're full of hope, you've got aspirations and dreams that trading is going to make a lot of money for you. It's going to give you freedom, location freedom, be able to trade anywhere in the world if that's what you want to do. And I think what is so attractive about it is that you can just open up your laptop or your Mac and load up the trading screen and you just start making money. It's just you and the financial markets, whether you trade Forex, whether you're trading shares, indices, commodities, whatever your chosen financial instrument is that you want to trade, you believe that you are going to easily make money. So that's the dream. But is it the reality once you start trading? When you realize how the markets can be completely unpredictable, you just don't know what's going to happen next. You learn a strategy and you think, right, all I need to do is just follow that strategy and I'll make money. And then you hold on to trades for too long, you cut them short too quickly, and suddenly your trading account goes into a negative. If you're trying to pass trading challenges, you get a funded account to make money from, which is the ultimate leverage. If you've only been trading a small personal account, trading a larger funded account gives you the opportunity of making a lot more money. And that's the dream for many. And then once you pass one challenge, you do another one, and then you can build up a very sizable funded account. But as I've said before in a previous video, that statistically, the research shows that only 95% of people who try and pass the trading challenge actually fail. So 95% just can't pass it. And the 5% that do, only 7% of them statistically get a payout. So it's not really great statistics. Now, there is a reason for that. But I want to tell you a story, and that story is about me. Before I got into trading, which was 14 years ago, was an investment manager. Well, I was a independent financial advisor. I had about 40 million in the UK, 40 million pounds under management. And so what I would do is invest into different asset classes for clients. So we would have a mixture of different asset classes across that 40 million. Some would go into UK shares, mainly with fund managers. Some would go into corporate bonds, fixed interest, all sorts of different asset classes. Everything would be risk managed. So you never put too much into one particular asset class. So risk management was very important and assessing what a client's attitude to risk was before we deployed that money into a portfolio for them. Okay, so that was something that I did before trading. It's quite a big responsibility, but I trained in that for many, many years and qualified to give advice and so on. So when I pivoted into trading, I started out thinking, God, this is going to be so easy. But it's night and day to investing longer term. Because when you invest longer term, they will invest with these particular fund managers and then will leave that money to grow over the next 5, 10 years. And if it was in pension funds, right up until retirement. So you had time on your side. And then in terms of managing that, it was just making sure that the money was deployed with the right fund managers. And if those fund managers didn't perform, you'd move to a different fund manager, perhaps in that same asset class. So that was a lot easier because when you trade, everything is about what's happening in the present moment. So you're looking at your screen and you can see all the candles on the chart moving up and down, and you're trying to predict which direction the price is going to go. So if you're trading, say, the German DAX and you think it's going to go up, you go long, of course. You have a certain strategy and you decide, right, okay, I'm going to, as soon as it starts to break out from this pattern above, say, a previous high, I'm going to get in on there and so on. Okay. And there's lots of different strategies. And you can see tons of those people talking about that on YouTube. I get sick of hearing about strategies because if the strategies were so good, why is it then that only 5% of traders actually pass a challenge? Okay. And I've said before this, it's not about the strategy. You could have a great strategy, but if you don't have the right foundations in the first place, the risk management side of things, what can happen on the downside, if you don't have a process, you're just going to keep failing. So the important thing is to get really skilled up to protect the downside, really educate yourself on how to manage risk. Now, I have created a formula, it's a process to follow. It's all about precision, understanding how much you risk per trade, how many trades you're going to be doing every month, what's your average risk reward ratio that you're targeting overall. So if you do 20 trades, what's your average risk reward across those 20 trades? So winning trades and losing trades, what's that average look like? And if you're looking to achieve 10%, when you know those metrics, what does your win rate need to be? Okay, so I built all this software to be able to do that. I took most of this year, probably 10, 11 months of this year to build all of the software to make the formula so easy to use and understand. But what it does do is it allows people to do the calculations. And then once you start, say, another challenge, you can then measure the results that you're getting. And it allows you to tweak things and improve the trades that you're doing to make sure that you're on target. And very importantly, that you don't go into a drawdown situation where you just can't pull yourself out of. So it's understanding the Monte Carlo simulations as well, which is every month you're going to get a different trading sequence between winning and losing trades. Okay, it's random. You're never going to get the same result of winning trades and losing trades in a month. Okay, so consistency is so important. Certainty, predictability, all of these things before you even apply a strategy. You have to understand the numbers. That's what traders need to get skilled up on first. And when I first got into trading, I mean, I was really in the trenches because I thought, hey, this is going to be easy because I've all my life, I've just been involved in finance. Okay. So I understand shares inside out, fund managers, etc. That was everything that I've learned for decades. That's what I knew. And I thought trading would be the same, but it's not because markets just move so fast. We're trying to make money quickly in a short period of time rather than waiting for 5, 10, 15, 20 years for share prices to increase through those particular investment funds that we're putting money into. Different game altogether. And that was something that I hadn't quite grasped when I pivoted from investing into trading. And that's so important that you should know that, that was my background and how difficult I did initially find trading to be. And I've made all the mistakes. I've got all the scars, the same as any other trader that's been there, from, losing on personal accounts and not realizing I was putting far too much money on each trade because I wanted the money immediately. If I put £1,000 on a trade, I wanted to get £2,500 straight back. Far too much risk on it. Forgetting that leverage is very, very dangerous. So if you invest £10,000, then £10,000 is invested. But with leverage, 10,000 becomes 200,000 if you've got 20 to 1 leverage. So the difference is absolutely massive. And it's so important to understand that when you decide how much you're going to risk per trade. So it could be, I hit traders risking 1%, people that I coach, and so how much are you risking? 1%. Some of them even 1.5%. Now, if you think about it, if you're doing a challenge, you can only lose 10% before you fail the challenge. So it doesn't stack up, does it? Because you really only have a 10,000 account if you're trading 100,000, because they only allow you that wriggle room of 10K. And if you go beyond that 10K in drawdown, that's it, you've lost the challenge. From speaking to so many traders, it's all about getting to that 10% return on that demo account that they're trading to try and pass the challenge. It's about getting that as quickly as possible. I really want to do it in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, and trying to force it to happen. And the more you try and force it, the quicker you then get into drawdown because you're just taking too much risk. It has to be absolutely precision driven. That's why I've built this formula. So the numbers you follow verbatim. And that is your foundation in terms of managing your risk. Once you've got that part protected, then when you're putting money on the trades and you have this consistency and this discipline, it's then that you can get to where you want to get to, which is the 10% that you need to pass. And then you've got the verification, you need 5% verification, and then you've got your funded account. But you have to, even when you get the funded account, you can't trade any differently. You have to follow the same principles. Otherwise, you'll very quickly lose that funded account, and then you'll have to start again from scratch and try and pass another challenge. And then you're just not making any money. So what's the point? What is the point? So also created is a 7-step challenge system. Now, step one in that system is to grasp the reality of what's happened before with challenges that you've done and personal accounts that you have lost. It's about being honest with yourself before you even start another challenge and pay whatever that fee is. And that fee can be anything up to £950 if you're in the UK. I'm not going to give you the dollar and the euro equivalent, but in the UK, you would pay up to about £950 for £140,000 account equivalent of a $200,000 account. I think at the moment they've got an offer for a 70,000 account where you might be able to pay about under £400, maybe £380 or something like that. But nevertheless, you're still paying money out to try and pass the challenge. And if you haven't got these things right, forget it. Don't even bother trying another challenge because you might think you've got a great strategy. But if you don't know the numbers and you're not tracking anything, then the chances are that you will fail that next challenge. If you are trying to pass a driving test and you're on your fifth attempt, you've got to try and do something different, haven't you, to pass on the sixth time? Okay, because something's not quite right. So to pass a challenge for many is probably harder than trying to pass a driving test. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll show you the 7-step system. I'm just going to show you step one. And what I want you to do is to do your own calculations as to how many challenges that you've done, how much money you spent on average on those challenges, and if you have had personal accounts. So if you put some of your own money from your bank account into a personal account with trading companies like IG, FX Pro, and so on, how much have you lost with those accounts? Then we're also going to have a look at, well, if you're spending 20 hours a week trading and your hourly rate was £20, if you're going to do something different instead of being at a screen for 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, 20 hours in total, and you're able to earn £20 an hour elsewhere, then that's £400 that you could have earned somewhere else. If you're still trying to pass the challenge, that's £400 that you've lost in terms of your time over 52 weeks. We're talking 20 odd thousand a year. That's where this real cost comes in. And then on top of that, you've got the opportunity cost, because every time you're failing a challenge is another opportunity missed where you could have got a funded account. And if you had that funded account whereby, let's say, it was $100,000 account, and on that $100,000 account, you were able to make 10%. So your profit share would be 80% of that. So that's $8,000 that potentially you could have earned if you had that funded account because you've passed the challenge and the verification. That's another 8,000 that you've just missed out on because you're not passing the challenge. So my question to you is, when is enough enough? Are you going to continue to keep trying to pass challenge after challenge, paying more and more in fees to FTMO and others, and spend your time at the screen earning zero? Because that's the reality of it. And that's why this calculator, I call it the true cost of trading. This is the reality, and it's facing up to that reality before you do step two. And step two is about looking at all of the trades that you're doing and understanding what your true average risk reward is, what your win rate is, how much you're risking per trade, and then really understanding those numbers. And then you've got something to work with. You've got something that you can improve, and you can test the strategy against these numbers. And if you're way off course, it's time now to do something different. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to show you the true cost reality calculator. And then what I want you to do is put your own numbers in so you can see the reality of what trading's costing you. And then you've got a decision to make. Do you carry on down this road, or do you give up altogether? The alternative is to look at the Trader's Edge formula, use the software tools that I've built, and it will transform everything for you. This is coming from somebody who I would risk different amounts on different trades. It was random. There was no consistency. And so I was getting inconsistent results, random results. So let's have a look at the true cost reality calculator. So this is the 7-step challenge success system. Stop guessing, start passing, get funded, your mathematical blueprint to prop firm success. This is step one, about facing the reality. This is about calculating what failed challenges are really costing you. Not just the prop firm challenge fees, but the opportunity cost, wasted time, and something that I haven't mentioned is the psychological damage that it causes. The sleepless nights, the arguments that you have with your partner. If the months go by and you're not making any money, how much pressure is that putting on relationships? Okay, because why don't you go out and get a job? It's trading things not working, is it? Have you ever heard that before? When are you going to stop? So you've got two choices. You go out and get a job or start another business or whatever it is you're going to do to make money, or you find another way, a way that will work. And I can say hand on heart, I will show you the way. Okay. I've been there in the trenches. I've built all of this because I understand what the problem is, and this is the solution. But you start by being honest about what it's costing you already. So step two is about analyzing your trades. We'll look at that in another video. So calculate your true cost. Before you start another challenge, calculate what your trading failures are really costing you. And this is the brutal mathematics of trading without systematic precision. So how confident are you that you'll pass this time? 50% confident? 70%? Only you know that. So more challenge fees gone forever. And as I said before, every failed attempt is another 500 to 1,000 you'll never see again. If you do pass a challenge, FTMO will actually give you that feedback, but you've got to pass it. Another 4 to 6 weeks wasted, longer perhaps. That's time you could be earning money elsewhere. As I've said, if you're trading 20 hours per week at £25 an hour, that's 2 to 3,000 in lost earnings per attempt over this period of time. The invisible cost, as I've said, the missed profit sharing. This is the biggie. If you pass this challenge, you'd be trading a funded account right now with 80% profit share on a 100,000 account. That would make you 8%, and that would give you 6,400 per month. That's what you're not earning by not passing the challenge. We're not even included in there that you've got to still pass the verification. It's not just about passing the challenge. You've still got to get 5% in the verification period. So every month delay is potentially costing you 6,400. So if we looked at that over 12 months, that's 6,400 times 12 potentially. That's if you were making 10% a month, of course. Some months you might make less than that. Some months maybe even more. How long are you going to keep failing? If you carry on with this trajectory for another 6 to 12 months, this is why I want you to put these numbers into the calculator. Because if you carry on in this same trajectory of failing challenge after challenge after challenge and not making a single penny trading, how much in total are you going to really lose? And this calculator that I built will tell you those numbers. You just got to be honest with yourself. Okay, it's so important to be honest with yourself before you endeavor to take the next challenge. So how much longer will you work for nothing? So is it going to be 6 months, 12 months? Who knows? And when will enough be enough? Far too many traders give up entirely because they never developed the mathematical framework needed to succeed. So what I'm saying is don't let that be you. Okay, there is a way. I promise you there's another way. So what you do to calculate these numbers before you risk another penny, which will potentially save you thousands. I'm going to leave a link below this video. And what I want you to do is put in the number of challenges that you've taken. So say you've done 6 prop firm challenges, and maybe the average challenge fee, £645. You'll know what that number is. For some, they've been doing the 140,000 account, UK money. So it's been costing them 950. So you just put in there 950, if that's what it is, 950. So you'll know how many personal accounts you've blown. Most people do start trading with their own money before they move on to challenges to get those bigger funded accounts, but you'll know those numbers. So just put in whatever that average account size is in here as well. So if you've blown 2 accounts of 12,000, you put that number in there, and there you go. You'll know there's 24,000 that you've lost. So you literally have blown it all, gone into drawdown, couldn't ever recover from drawdown, risked far too much, doubled down on trades, and eventually you just sunk further and further into quicksand and you couldn't pull yourself out. And then the account was down to nothing. And I've seen it so many times. I've even seen people start with 6-figure accounts, blown them. Okay. Could be very expensive. And then the trading period. How long have you been trading and trying to pass these challenges over? So, is it 6 months, a year and a half? Put that in the time because the time's important. And then how many hours a week do you spend trading? Is it 20 hours a week? Is it 30 hours a week? 10 hours a week? Put those numbers in. Your hourly rate, whatever that is, £20 an hour, £15 an hour, maybe it's £50 an hour. You'll know what your hourly rate is. So if your hourly rate was £50 and you're sat at your screen 30 hours a week, that's £1,500 that potentially you could have earned if you were doing something else other than being at your trading screen. This is the funded account size. So this is the biggie, the missed opportunity cost. Because if you had 100,000 funded account, as I said before, if your target on that was 8, 9, 10%, you put these numbers in here. Let's just say it's 10%, profit share of 80%, and then you click on here, and that will give you your reality. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to show you those numbers. I want you to do it yourself. When you do press show my reality, it will display all of the numbers on the screen. And then you can keep tweaking these as well as to what will happen if you carry on the same trajectory, on the same path that you've been on. So if you've been trading for, say, 6 months or a year with no return on your money, that projection will show you how much you will continue to keep losing if you carried on trading for another 6 months to 12 months. But I want you to do those numbers yourself. Click on the link below this video and it will do the maths for you. Why is it I want you to do it yourself? If you do this exercise, it may be a wake-up call for you. You're facing the reality of what trading is actually costing you. So if we go right back to the beginning as to why you got into trading, it was to make money, wasn't it? That was the whole point, for you to start having freedom. Yeah. Trading can be a beautiful thing. It's fantastic. If you've got that strategy really dialed in, you feel you've got the edge. This is the missing piece. The trader's edge formula that I built is the missing piece. I know that it is because I've cut my teeth in this now. So for the last 14 years, I've seen everything that can happen and why traders don't make money and why they've continued to keep failing challenges. So this will transform everything for you. Once you've clicked on the true cost reality calculator, you can then go to, I'll put another link in there for the 7-step challenge system. And that one is where you can upload some of your trading numbers. You just put all your trades in, so risk per trade, what the outcome was, and it will calculate everything for you in this software that I've built. It's the trading strategy analyzer. So you just upload the numbers into that, and this is where we can analyze everything. I'll put that link also below this video. But the first thing I want you to do is to look at the cost of trading. What's the reality? What is the true cost of trading? Do that first. That's your wake-up call. And then make the decision. Are you going to carry on trading and just hoping, maybe strategy hopping? Maybe it's this strategy that's just not working. Maybe I'll find another one. Well, I've heard about this really cool breakout strategy. It's a bit different to the one that I'm used to. I'll try that. Or maybe we should just use the RSI strategy. Let's just use relative strength index strategy on overbought and or oversold markets. Maybe we'll use the reversal strategy. Maybe we use the head and shoulders pattern. We use these candle patterns. Maybe forget it. You might have a great strategy, but you've got to have the formula and you've got to track and measure the numbers. Treat it like a business and you'll be good to go. So please leave a comment once you've done those numbers and let me know whether they were what you imagined they would be. I'll be interested to know. So if you found this video helpful, then please share with other people. And if you've not subscribed to the channel already, then please subscribe and you'll get notified of any other videos that I make. Okay, and I'll see you again soon. Happy trading.